in the shadow of the sword. Or what is it? Um, yeah, In the Shadow of the Sword by Tom Holland. He is not pro. He is pretty down on the Christians and very academic liberal. And he even mentions and tries to kind of brush under the rug all the uprisings of the Jews going and just killing man, woman, and child in any towns in Palestine. Because remember, they're still trying to reenact Joshua at this point. And the slaughtering of Samaritans. Not to mention the Jews had some kingdoms of their own. Now, what did it mean to be an historian? The Nestorians hated the Byzantine Empire. Now, they came from the Byzantine Empire, yeah. Nestorius was the head of Constantinople. But the Persians said, oh, you guys are enemies of the religion that's... Because religion was kind of the way that you united empires. It was kind of like, are you a communist or a capitalist? Are you a nationalist? Are you a Nazi? It showed your alliance. That was one of the things it did. And the church didn't like this. I mean, the people most persecuted by the Byzantine Empire were Orthodox Christians. John Chrysostom. The reason why John of Damascus could write about iconoclasm and preach against iconoclasm is because he wasn't inside the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines were, slaughtering the iconophiles and burning sacred icons. So these councils that were pronounced, many times the councils would be held and then they'd be outlawed. And it's because of the bishops hiding or being in exile and the people secretly believing that after it rose up later on, iconography was something straight naturally from the people. And it was the intellectuals that didn't like it. It was the emperors and the bishops that they paid that were on their payroll. Remember, we look back at Byzantine time as being great, but it wasn't an idyllic. It was a great time because you had so many contending for the faith against the might of the empire. To be an historian was to be in league with the Persian Empire, because they used a Nestorian state called the Lakhmids as a buffer zone. They would use those as the auxiliary troops. These were their shock troops to go in and slaughter the heretics, just like the Vandals. The Vandals were racing across North Africa to kill Augustine of Hippo. This was your, this is your ideology, your religion, your politics. So it was, oppress these people, get rid of them, shame them, humiliate them, enslave their children, this kind of stuff. Just like the Spanish Inquisition, people would scream blasphemies in order to be arrested by the church, because if they were arrested by the secular sources, by the king, that was worse, because scream blasphemies, you get penance, and then you don't get executed. Then there was court cases for each and every one of them. Now, even in the Middle Ages, the emperor, who was a good emperor, heard of it. Well, no, it wasn't the emperor, it was the bishop who heard of Christian violence against the Jews and actually said, "You are not allowed to do this. They're your brothers. You must stop this immediately. This is an unchristian act." This is, this was in the, 13th century when they pronounced this. That's pretty shocking, The Jews had a powerful empire called Khazaria. They also had seized control of Edessa at one time, started oppressing and killing the Christians and selling Christian children in slavery, until Heraclius broke into the city, took the city, which was a Christian city initially, and expelled them. He didn't expel the Jews from all the empire, just the ones that had ruled Edessa like it was Taliban Afghanistan. The Jews had many violent uprisings and forcefully converted people. This gets swept under the rug because post-World War II, we don't like to anybody saying, well, the Jews were pretty violent and had massacres of their own, and you know, instead of these, you know, Christians just having, you know, unprovoked attacks against Christians, it was actually kind of tit for tat, and but